Well, the Colleges of Education Academic Staff Union, COASU, has expressed concern over the federal government's recent decision to grant admission exemptions to candidates seeking entry into colleges of education. Well, the national president of the association, Dr. Lawal Baza, who made this position known, says the union was not consulted before the policy was announced. Baza stresses that major reforms affecting teacher education should involve critical stakeholders. Well, according to the union, while efforts to increase enrollments into colleges of education are commendable, policy decisions must not undermine the quality of teacher training or the future of Nigeria's education system.
As a union, receive the news after the JAM policy meeting, same as any other Nigerian that got the news from the media. And we have stated that we were not consulted in the discussions that led to the development of this policy or shift. What we are saying, anytime government have a policy on ground and is meeting the idea, let's engage critical stakeholders and have a discussion so that we will understand the reason and why policies are being proffered or pronounced. That's why we always call there should be a bottom-top approach, not top-bottom approach.
Oh, Dr. Lawan Baza of COASU, he's the president of the union, joins us now to discuss colleges of education faulting the exemptions granted to admission seekers into the institutions. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
I mean, we heard you in that soundbite. You're saying that you were not consulted.
Yeah.
So the first time you heard this policy was at the JAM policy meeting?
At the JAM policy meeting.
That's interesting because the minister did start his speech by saying, after consultations with stakeholders, this is what we have come up to. So for us and I here, you're not the first union. The NUT, Nigerian Union of Teachers, is also saying they were not consulted. It's interesting to find out that you were not consulted. So who exactly did the federal government and the Ministry of Education consult? But beyond that, the question is, why are you so against this policy?
Well, as a union, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, viewers. As a union, we are not just saying outrightly we are against it. You know, when you discuss in policy formulation, especially with critical stakeholders, we are like the end users. We teach the students and we know what is on ground. Even if JAM is out, we are the ones that also screen to see how the students are performing. So if we are not involved, we don't even understand the intent of government at that level, and that's why we are concerned. It's not that we are totally saying it's no, but we are concerned. Because when you bring policies like that, there are a lot of issues that will have to be brought together, and you have people's opinion, even if it is what is supposed to be done, but the announcement may not come like this because you have to inform the nation what are other policies or other issues that can be used to also harness and help what the government is intended to do.
So your problem is not just that government did not consult with you, as it has said that it actually took this decision after consulting with stakeholders like yourself, but the decision itself, what's fundamentally wrong with what government has come up with? Because government is saying, look, there's compelling evidence from the Joint Admission Matriculation Board that colleges of education possess the capacity to admit willing candidates based on certain factors: proximity, cultural alignment, affordability, and all of that. So yes, government is saying it has thought this through.
Yes, there are factors like that. You see, the issue of teacher education in Nigeria is not about colleges of education. Even in the universities, we are having similar issue. It is education and agriculture are the least subscribed courses in Nigeria today. And this has spanned over years, probably up to a decade. And so what are we doing wrong that our young Nigerians are not interested in these two courses? particularly education. So if we look at the admission through JAM, but what are other issues? Because when you look at even the admission through JAM now, the minimum score, mostly in colleges of education and polytechnic, that JAM says is 100. 100 is 25% of score. So in any exam you conduct, 25% is a fail. Even the 150 now, that is the cutoff mark for university, 150 over 400 is 37.5%, is still a fail. So is that telling us that this is the quality that we need for Nigeria? No. WACE and NECO are the main exams that determine what admission you get, where you have certain requirement. So if these two bodies' exams are not properly conducted, done, and malpractices are taken off this, then whatever we do will still go back to where we are. Because, for example, we have a lot of medical centers. We conduct those things. We see our students, you see somebody with like C4 or whatever in English and cannot speak English. So where did he get that exam, that result? So if we can do our exams properly, it will sieve the student as it's supposed to be. That is it. But what we are saying as a union, apart from the admission of through JAM that government is looking at, the teacher education in Nigeria has not been given the place it deserves. So you can see students, let's look at, as a union, when we look at this problem coming in, we looked at the law, first of all. The union looked at the law and we saw that there are gaps in the law that establish colleges of education in Nigeria. So we funded it, we sponsored that law, and that was what brought about the dual mandate we are talking about now. And when we tried to implement the dual mandate, the intent of the act was to have a 3-year NCE and a 2-year degree. So when you go through NCE system and you have 3-year NCE and 2-year degree, you are double qualified. You have 2 degrees in your hand. And we also spoke and said to government, because these students have gone through this system, it means they are now professionally grounded to now be teachers. And for that reason, government should look at their professional grounded and look at how medicine, if you study medicine, 5 years or 6 years, what is your placement in the civil service or in government? Level 9. Let's place these same students level 9. So you need things to do that will attract. And if you get those attraction, issue of remuneration, even the teachers are not looking well, so nobody wants to go there.
Nobody wants to become a teacher.
No.
I mean, you highlight vital points, but if I understand you, you're saying that it's the way we conduct our exams and not necessarily UTME, because there are some who will argue that even UTME itself is not perfect. You recall that when we had the first female Minister of Education in this country, she introduced post-UTM examinations by the universities. That's because she says she was seeing students who passed UTME, but they can't still speak English like you said. So if the government has now said we're removing UTME to create for wider access, and if you just have your 4 O-levels credits, you're good to go. One wonders then where is the challenge there? Because you seem to be, on one hand, agreeing with the Minister of Education to say there is basically no need for UTME for those who want to go to NCE to become teachers. You also agree with me that once upon a time in this country, you didn't even need JAM to become a teacher. To go to training college. You just had to get your O-levels as well. So one will wonder, so what is the challenge here beyond, let's remove UTME for some students who have been able to pass? My question really is, do you agree with the minister that we can have standards and expansion at the same time when we remove UTME? But bringing in your point to say that the examinations we conduct must then be standardized.
Yes, you see, the whole thing, we are just missing the point. Like I said, examination mostly, like JAM we're talking about, is a selection exam for you to sieve based on the request or requirement of the institution. When we
Can we do without UTME for teachers in Nigeria? Simple. I think that's the bottom line question here, and that's what the minister and the education ministry is trying to do, trying to remove UTME JAM as a requirement for them.
Removing UTME, you are likely going to get increased number of students, because the issue where we're having in teacher education, especially qualification, is attrition. Students are not subscribing to teacher education. But we have seen places whereby, especially in some states, whereby they got students that have just WAEC and NECO into the system, and they got the number they needed, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 per in an academic session, and they go to JAM for regularization. It has been done before in Nigeria, not just college of education, in universities too. Yeah. Because I didn't write JAM, but I went to university, and I'm okay. So, but what we are saying is, JAM, through JAM, to enter university or college of education is not the issue. The issue is what will attract people to go to that. For example, every parent that sends his child to an institution is an investment. For every investment you make, you need a return on investment.
Absolutely.
For teacher education and to become a teacher, when you invest in that child, the return on investment is not there or even slow. Why is children going to read medicine, law? It's not because of patriotism.
So why are they not attracted to the teaching profession or attracted to colleges of education? What are the issues?
Fundamentally,
where are the gaps?
Yes, the gaps is, as a nation, as a people, we have relegated teacher education to the background as a nation. So when you are a teacher and you are going there, even look before the coming of colleges of education, when we have teacher training colleges, we were part of those that go to secondary school, and those that the society feel cannot go to secondary school were sent to teacher training institutions.
Right.
So this has translated to what we are having today. Even in the university, when you've done until they finish allocation of courses, those that are left go to.
So how do you change that now?
I mean,
what is COASU coming up with in terms of recommendations?
One, like I said, we worked and ensured that the act was changed, and therefore signed for us to get this dual mandate. Now, as I'm talking to you, the College of Education Academic Staff Union, the National Commission for Colleges of Education, the Committee of Provosts, in conjunction with Federal Ministry of Education, we are looking at the curriculum. The curriculum have been the one existing donkey of years. So we are changing the curriculum, we are unbranding it, we are rebranding it, we are unbundling it.
Okay.
For example, a student that goes to College of Education is looked at those that have low score, 100.
Okay.
Now, sorry, I want to...
Very quickly.
Yes, quickly. Now, we looked at the courses that a student in College of Education will take per semester. It's about 18 to 20 courses. 18 to 20 courses is that you will do that 2 to 3 semesters in a university. And we are saying they are the lowest class of students, and we are giving them work, so much load.
Right.
So,
And remuneration.
Okay.
Hey, I mean,
Pay.
your reward is here on earth and
Not
not
in
in
heaven.
heaven.
yeah, we want it here.
Teachers are fantastic
And in
they
heaven
deserve
too.
more.
We want all. Once we get it here,
Yes.
we always receive prayers.
Oh,
from-
thank you very much. Thank you for what you do. Dr. Lawal Baza is the National President of the Colleges of Education Academic Staff Union. Thank you.
Thank you.